Hey everyone, it's Zack Beck. Today I want to talk to you about how to become a financial minimalist. Now, when you hear the word minimalism, I know there can be a lot of associations with that. You might be thinking of living in an empty apartment, not owning any things, doing everything you can to, basically be empty. What I want to encourage you is the concept of financial minimalism is being strategic and intentional with how you're spending your money and saving your money to secure your financial future. So I'm going to share with you various steps that you can take right now to become a financial minimalist. So let's jump into it. So when it comes to financial minimalism, one thing I want to share with you right out of the gate is that financial minimalism supports the notion that it is okay to spend money on things that bring value to your life. Once again, you're not just trying to cut everything out, you're trying to find value in your life. I'll give you a personal example of this. My wife and I used to live in a slightly bigger home, and we decided that we no longer needed that much space. We actually prefer being closer to the ocean, being able to be closer to activities, so we actually scaled down, spent money on a smaller location that is right next to the beach, and we love it here. And that's what I just really want to encourage you is that when it comes to being a minimalist, it's not trying to have nothing, it's trying to have the things that you really value and that bring the most meaning to your life. So whatever that is for you, perhaps it's scaling down your vehicle, perhaps it's selling some of your clothes, perhaps it's doing everything you can to not have as much stuff, but really spending your money strategically and placing it into areas that make the most value for yourself. So that's the first thing I want to get really clear right out of the gate. Financial minimalism still allows you to spend money. An essential aspect of financial minimalism is cutting out areas that you don't need in your life anymore. So trying to identify specific areas in your budget that just aren't necessary and cutting those out, because the more money that you're able to cut out of your spending, the more profit you have to then invest in things that really do mean something to you. Once again, my wife and I really love to travel. And when we cut out areas in our life and we no longer go out to fancier restaurants, perhaps we don't spend as much money on clothing, we then set aside that money to be able to go on longer vacations, to be able to go to places that really bring value and meaning to our life. So when you're cutting back from a financial minimalist perspective, it's really being intentional and strategic about how you're allocating your resources in the most strategic places possible to bring down your costs, ultimately to increase the livelihood that you're currently living and having more value to everything that you do. So do what you can to cut costs in certain areas of your life. And when you get on a budget, what you can do is you can actually go through your monthly expenses and realize the areas that are nice to have versus the areas that you need to have. And when you scale those back, when you scale the areas that are nice to have out and realize that you can focus specifically on the areas that you most intentionally love and desire, that's going to bring you so much more value to your life. Now, there's a gentleman by the name of Ramit Sethi, and he has the following saying. He says, spend extravagantly on the things that you love, but cut mercilessly on the things that you don't. So if you take your time to really assess the situation you're currently in and cut out the areas that really aren't bringing you value, but then spend money on the things that do bring you value, once again, you're living a more holistic life, a balanced life, and you're actually going to be able to save money, and it's going to help secure your financial future. So cut back where you can. And when it comes to being a financial minimalist, one of the things that you want to do is to learn to live on less despite how much money you make. And this is trying to avoid the concept of lifestyle inflation. It is so easy to fall into this trap. I personally have fallen into this trap myself. When I started making over a six-figure income, one thing I found myself doing was spending the same amount of money that I was making, even though just a couple months before that, I was making significantly less money and I was spending as much money as I made then. So what I want to encourage you to do is to try and avoid lifestyle inflation by not feeling the pressure from society to live up to the same means as other people might be doing. And this is really important because you might see on social media, on Instagram, Snapchat, or anything to that extent, other people living extravagant lives, going on great vacations, having nicer vehicles, living in big homes, whatever it might be, and you feel the pressure to actually live up to that same level. But what I want to encourage you to do is you do not need to do that. You only need to spend money on the things that bring value and meaning and worth to your life. So don't feel the pressure to do that, and instead, when you actually start making more money, try and scale back and live on less, and then you have more money to save and invest in longer term goals that bring value to your life. And one of the things you'll find with lifestyle inflation, it really is a derisive of Parkinson's law. There's a lot of psychology going into this. We have a concept in our life where when we have more money, we want to spend it. You've heard the concept of having money burning a hole in your pocket. So if you can actually automate your finances and have your money saved automatically, invested automatically, that's going to prevent you from even having the desire or the pressure or the temptation to spend this money. I actually have another video about that. It's called How to Automate Your Finances. I'll put a link in the description. Feel free to check that out. But basically the concept concept being that have your money automatically deducted out of your paycheck, have it go into your certain retirement accounts like your Roth IRA, your 401k, then have money go into your savings account, have all your bills automated, and then at the end of the month, you have leftover money that you can spend on things that are a little bit more discretionary. So just try and focus on doing what you can to avoid lifestyle inflation. I can tell you myself personally, the more I've done this, the more value it's brought to my life, the more encouragement it has brought, and honestly, it has been more freeing because now I have less stuff, and with the less stuff comes more freedom just from my personal experience. So give it a try. And when it comes to being a financial minimalist, one of the strategic things you want to do is to actually invest your money. And by investing your money, you want to take a couple different approaches. Perhaps you want to go the individual stock route. This requires a bit more discretion, maybe a bit more experience, but if you want to do so, there are a couple of applications that you can try out. One being WeBull. I actually put a link in the description if you want to try it out. If you sign up there and you deposit, I believe, $100 on the platform, it'll give you 2 free stocks, one stock worth up to $1,400. In addition, Robinhood is another app. You might have heard of it before. I gave you a link in the description as well. You can get a free stock if you try that out. Just bear in mind, when you do the individual stock approach to investing, it's a little bit riskier. You have to actually have a bit more experience and understanding of market trends and how the economy is shifting. So really be cautious when you go around that route. What I personally prefer is to use a longer term strategy by going and investing in what are called index funds. Now, an index fund basically tracks the entire stock market. So if the stock market goes up, your investment goes up. If the stock market goes down, your investment goes down. But if you dollar cost average and just keep putting money in on a month by month basis, you will yield on average a 7% annual return when you have adjusted for inflation and you have your dividends reinvested. So if you want to go that route, you can go with index funds. And there's also what are called ETFs, or exchange traded funds, which are very comparable to index funds in the sense that they usually track the stock market. And I actually put a link in the description for a company called Wealthfront where you can try that out as well. So when it comes to investing, you really just want to take your time and be intentional, but also you just want to do it because that's the way your money is going to grow and expand over time. And especially if you're younger, if you're in your teens or if you're in your 20s, when you factor in compound interest, the investments that you make now will pay off significant dividends later on down the road. So whatever it is for you, even if it's a small amount that you can start putting in, go for it. But my encouragement to you as well is that try and have your financial house in order before you move forward and try and do too much investing. Because if right now you're in significant debt, you have large student loans, a car loan, or anything like that, try and pay those off first and then start investing, because then you'll have a little bit more ability to grow financially. But even if you're just putting a little bit in while you're still paying down your debt, that's okay as well. Just try and find the right mix for yourself. But once again, with financial minimalism, we're trying to operate with less. We're trying to simplify our investing strategies, simplifying our lives in order for us to have more freedom and flexibility to do the things that we actually love. And that's what I really think is a critical component of all of this, is not focusing, or I guess you could say, fixating on finances too much. The whole reason that we should be doing any of this is so that way we can actually live a life of meaning and purpose, all while maintaining balance and moderation. So my encouragement to you is just do what you can to scale back, cut your expenses where necessary, spend on the things that bring value to your life, and invest strategically in the areas that are the most essential for you. And if you do all of those things, you're on the course, you're setting the trajectory so that way you can be a financial minimalist and you can live your life with more meaning and purpose, all while trying to strive for balance and moderation. So with all that being said, I really want to thank you for taking the time to watch the video today. If you wouldn't mind, please like the video. It actually really helped me out for the YouTube algorithm and hopefully push this video to other people who need to hear a message like this. Furthermore, if you wouldn't mind commenting down below, I'd love to hear from you, get your feedback, answer any questions that you might have. In addition, I'm going to continue to create content on this channel that touches a variety of topics, all the way from personal finance to professional development. So feel free to subscribe if you wouldn't mind. Then you'll be able to be notified when I do push more videos out there. So once again, I really just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm really encouraged by the fact of being able to create this channel and do everything I can to make a positive impact in the lives of others. So I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and give me any feedback that you have. So once again, I thank you very much for everything that you're doing. I wish you the best of luck and success in your endeavors, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great day.